to the North State Breakdown with Benjamin Noane. I'd like to discuss the hands-off protest that took place on April 5th, 2025, and what it tells us about federal overreach, public service cuts, and how people in Shasta County and across the country are starting to push back. On April 5th, 2025, over 1,000 people gathered in Reading for the hands-off protests, part of a nationwide response to the sweeping cuts made by the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. That number is more than double the crowd that attended the No Kings protest just 1 month ago on March 5th, which itself drew over 400 concerned locals. But this isn't just local. Protests are happening in every state across the country today. In Washington, D.C., thousands gathered on the National Mall, chanting "Hands off our services," waving signs defending everything from Social Security to clean air protections. According to NPR, organizers say this is just the beginning of sustained resistance across the nation. Meanwhile, another source of economic concern is gaining attention: tariffs. President Trump has revived the idea of broad reciprocal tariffs, some as high as 60%, which economists warn could raise consumer costs by as much as $2,600 per household annually. These new trade policies risk driving up the cost of everything from food to clothing to electronics, putting additional pressure on working-class Americans, especially in rural counties already stretched thin. So why is this movement growing? What's at stake? Well, the short answer is everything, from library funding and rural internet to Social Security services and public health programs. DOGE was created by President Donald Trump and is now spearheaded by Elon Musk, with the goal of slashing what they deem wasteful government spending. But what many see as efficiency, communities across the country are experiencing as devastation. Over the past few weeks, multiple reports have surfaced detailing just how widespread and damaging the cuts have become. According to The Guardian, on Friday, April 4th, RFK Jr., Trump's appointed Health and Human Services Director, admitted that 20% of DOGE's job cuts were made in error and they would need to be reversed. Entire programs, including those tracking childhood lead exposure, were abruptly halted. Here in Shasta County and neighboring regions, the damage is already hitting home. Federal lease cancellations have affected agencies in Reading, Wairika, Weaverville, Mount Shasta, Chico, Eureka, and Arcata, with over $600,000 in cuts to just a handful of local offices. These include the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the USDA, the U.S. Forest Services, the Small Business Administration, and programs under the Department of Health and Human Services. We discussed many of these cuts in episode 35 of the North State Breakdown, where we covered the early wave of DOGE closures and how they disproportionately hit smaller rural communities. As NPR recently reported, HHS has been particularly impacted, including its sub-agencies like the FDA and CDC. The FDA has already suspended new food safety inspections, and the CDC is scaling back outbreak monitoring due to abrupt funding losses. These changes put additional strain on rural counties that rely on federal coordination to manage everything from drinking water to disease prevention. These aren't abstract numbers. They're community jobs, environmental safeguards, and essential public services being stripped away. What's shocking is the breadth of the services being gutted. A CBS report confirmed DOGE has also slashed fundings for libraries, terminating grants, halting summer reading programs, and cutting support for rural bookmobiles and broadband. DOGE's attack on the Social Security Administration is now threatening service access nationwide, creating long delays and office shutdowns. Even CNN revealed that DOGE's AI system was used to flag redundant roles in the Secret Service and Departments of Homeland Security, leading to unexpected risks in national security. What's the common thread? These aren't targeted cuts with thoughtful oversight. They're algorithmically driven, sweeping eliminations that ignore human impact. They undermine trust in government, weaken the social safety net, and disproportionately affect rural communities like ours, where federal agencies often provide lifelines in the form of health, food, and housing support. And the people are noticing. The hands-off protest wasn't just a moment. It's a movement. From Alaska to Florida, and even here in Shasta County, citizens are standing up to say, enough is enough. But not everyone showed up to support. As the protest was just getting started in Reading, 2 citizens rolled up on motorcycles and tried to intimidate a known activist and protester, Christian Gardner, simply for crossing a city parking lot. According to witnesses, one of the bikers ripped a sign from Christian's hand and bumped chests with him. Both kept their helmets on, concealing their faces. That didn't stop the protest organizers from surrounding them in silent solidarity. Phones came out. No one flinched. When the situation escalated, the second biker tapped the first one and indicated they needed to leave. The momentum shifted. As they backed off, the other biker pulled out his phone and tried to antagonize the crowd, hurling insults while filming. Again, no one engaged. No yelling, no threats. Even when the remaining biker attempted to drown out the sounds of everyone by revving their engines, everyone remained calm. One of the organizers, who incidentally is my wife, Jenny O'Connell Nowain, held her hand out like a stop sign, along with the rest of the organizers. Calm, resolute. Eventually, the other biker rode off, and they never came back. This protest is more than about policy. It was about presence. It was about holding space without fear, even when provoked. It was about community. Today's turnout, over 1,000 strong, shows the hands-off movement is real and growing. People are done being ignored by AI-driven austerity measures pushed from the top down. They want a government that listens, serves, and respects them. And they're showing up in numbers to make sure their voices are heard. And that's the breakdown.